Chimangi, and today I'm going to be reading out of the book Stories of Africa by Gcina Mhlophe. The story I shall be reading is Khethiwe, Queen of Imbira. No girl in this land shall play the imbira. No, no, no. I said no girl in this land shall play mbira. Yes, you heard me right. No girl must play mbira. Those are the words that Khethiwe listened through all through the years that she was growing up. They made her very sad. More than anything, she longed to be allowed to play the imbira. An imbira is a very special instrument, one that plays sacred music to call good spirits back to the home. It is also called a kamlimba, a sanza, or a thumb piano. In Khethiwe's land, only men and boys were allowed to play the sacred piano, a sacred instrument. This was the law of the land, and other girls seemed to accept it, all except Khethiwe. Her dream was to one day own this beautiful instrument herself. Because it was forbidden for girls to play, she knew that no one would help her to learn how to play the imbira. She would have to teach herself. Khethiwe lived with her mother and father in a homestead near the river. She was a quiet and thoughtful child, always helping with all the chores at home. All day she worked happily around the house, and when she finished, she would head for the big pool in the river, where she would love to swim. She always chose to go there late in the afternoon, just before sunset, for at that hour there was a magical golden light that washes over the land, making everyone and everything look beautiful. This is the time that people of Africa called time of beautiful people. This was Khethiwe's favorite time to swim in the river. Sometimes the other girls would come and join her, but mostly she was there alone. One day, she was quietly by herself at the river, enjoying the peace and beauty of Libantu Bahle. An amazing thing happened. Looking into the pool, she noticed movement under the water. Big ripples spread out, coming closer and closer toward her. And then, out of the river, a mysterious hand emerged, a shiny and golden. Khethiwe was afraid. She had never seen such a thing in her life before. Then she saw the hand was holding out something towards her. It was an imbira. It was a beautiful imbira, dripping wet, but otherwise in good shape. Hardly able to believe her eyes, Khethiwe accepted it, stammering her thanks to the hand and its unseen owner. She quickly dried herself and got dressed as fast as she could and ran all the way home with the secret gift carefully hidden in her shawl. The next day, she did her chores as usual, helping her parents at the home until the day was spent. And then, just as she always did, she went down to the river at her favorite time, the time of beautiful people. But Khethiwe was no longer interested in swimming. She was looking for a safe hiding place where she would be undisturbed to play her instrument. She found a cave that looked out the running water of the river, with a big flat rock overhanging it. It was as if she had found her own personal veranda. Khethiwe made herself comfortable, took up the imbira, and hesitantly plucked the strings. Klim, klim, klim. She tried awkwardly to play. It was not easy at all. Try as she might, she couldn't produce the music that she heard. But she kept on her secret practicing, returning to the cave every sundown, plucking those strings until her fingers were sore. Hi! It was frustrating. Maybe it's true that men are cleverer than we girls. But she said to herself, but no, that she would never believe. The thought made her even more determined to succeed. She practiced and practiced, spending hours in the secret cave. And then it happened. One day, she suddenly stopped trying so hard and let the imbira guide her. She relaxed and started playing, and slowly she felt it coming. Hiya, ya, glim, glim, hiya, ya, glim, glim. Oh, yes. Khethiwe was beside herself with joy. She couldn't stop grinning as she felt the lovely rhythms wash over her and the sound of the sacred music fill her ears. This was very good. At long last, she could play the beautiful music of her ancestors. From that day onwards, Khethiwe listened to the inspiring sounds wherever she went. Sounds that she could use for her music. The bird songs she heard provided new melodies for her instrument. The gurgling waters of the river gave her new rhythms. She could feel the music of her ancestors pulsing in her blood, beating in her bones, in her marrow. It made her so happy when she played the mbira, but she still had to keep it a secret from everyone, which was very hard. Every year, in late July, at the end of a celebration, all the people on the land gathered at the king's corral to celebrate. The boys and men would play the imbira together in a large circle and played the beautiful melodies. Those in the crowd who felt like dancing dressed up in their traditional clothes and went to the middle of the circle to dance. Khethiwe wrapped her cloth around her imbira and held it carefully where no one would find it. She put on her special clothes and beads and stepped out of the home looking extremely lovely, and then went to join the dancers at the celebration. And hey, she could dance. Her limbs seemed to flow like the water to the beautiful imbira sounds. She moved her body so gracefully that people couldn't take her eyes off her. Somebody called out, "Hey, hey, hey! Uyadela umfazi omzala le ntombi. Halala!" Luckily is the one who gave birth to that child. But the others were jealous. They said harshly, "She thinks she's a queen." The king was at the celebration that day, sitting at his special place, watching everyone enjoy themselves. He was having a good time, glad to see his people so happy. He overheard different comments about Khethiwe and thought to himself that she was the best imbira dancer of all. It wasn't long after this event that the old king fell seriously ill. Everyone in the kingdom was very upset because he was a kind and popular ruler. Many different kinds of healing potions were brought to the royal hut, and the king tried them all, but he didn't get better. The ancestral ceremonies were performed, but nothing helped. He only got worse. The elders began to accept their king that did not have a very long time to live. They went to the king's corral to be with him on his last part of his journey. They all agreed that his final day had come, though exactly when he would draw his last breath, they couldn't decide. Someone said, "He's only got 1 more hour to live," while others says, No, he's only got 1 more second." And on that same day, at the special time where the people say Libantu Bahle, Khethiwe was in her cave by the river. Sadly, she played her sacred imbira, wishing with all her heart that some miracle would happen to save the dying king's life. Suddenly, she had a strong feeling that she should go see him. She hid in the cave. She hurried from the cave, taking her imbira with her. This time, she did not bother to hide the instrument, but continued to play it as she walked along. All who saw her were shocked. Mashen, they exclaimed. "What is this? A girl playing an imbira? We shall be cursed!" But Khethiwe didn't even hear them. As if a strong force was pushing her from behind her, she walked faster and faster towards the king's corral. The elders who were gathered around by the sound of the imbira coming towards them out of the distance. They saw Khethiwe at the door. At the sight of the king's lying on his deathbed, she fell to her knees in respect. Still on her knees, she crawled over to where he was lying, taking her instrument and playing it next to the king's ears, softly at first, and then louder and more louder still. She started to sing, Siyabiza imoya yabo gaseko. We are calling on the spirits of long gone. As Khethiwe continued to sing and play her beautiful melodies, the elders heard the sound of the imbiras and other voices joining in with hers, as if an invisible crowd of imbira players filled the room. The only one they could see was Khethiwe. The king opened his eyes. He sat on his bed and looked around the room. He lifted his fingers and pointed towards the wall, calling out the names of the invisible people. Yes, he could see the faces of kings and queens long dead. He saw his grandparents and his great-grandparents looking back at him. They were saying the same thing. Keep on living. Ubega upile. Keep on living. Ubega upile. Then the king's eyes fell on Khethiwe and smiled. Khethiwe, he said, you are the chosen one, just like your name. Your beautiful imbira playing has summoned the ancestors. Thank you for saving my life. From this day on, I command that not just every boy, but every girl in this land shall be free to play the music of our ancestors. Play your imbira, Khethiwe. Don't stop. Keep on playing. Ubega udlala. Keep on playing. Ubega udlala. Khethiwe was overjoyed to hear the king's words, and she did play. The elders did not try to stop her. They were relieved and happy to see their king restored to health and in good spirits. So, as you can guess, at the end of the next harvest celebration, when all the imbira players gathered together to play for the crowd, Khethiwe was right there with them. It made her happy to be able to take her rightful place among them. The other little girls were there too, following in her examples, trying hard to play. From then on, there was no hiding them back. The king of the land himself gave them the command, keep on playing, ubega uhlala. Everyone was agreed that it was the best end of harvest celebration in living memory. Os, iapela. Here I rest my story.